Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories like these. Now, let's get into today's story video. Wife of 6 years cheated. Stay or go. My wife and I have been married for about 6 years, and she just relocated to another state to pursue a master's degree. We had intended on me following her, but in the end we mutually agreed that the security of my work plus insurance plus just purchasing a home outweighed the advantages of relocating. We had gone long distance while dating and had both overcome the challenges. One of her former housemates moved out at the beginning of the year, and she found a new roommate to replace her, a 22-year-old Spanish woman who was teaching in the same program as my wife. My wife would sometimes make remarks to me about how gorgeous he is, which was not unusual for her. We were discussing one day when she casually inquired how I felt about an open relationship. This was utterly unexpected, but she had formed a tiny crush on this man and essentially wanted permission to act on it. I replied no because I had no intention of leaving our marriage, and because I adore my wife. I believed that was the end of it when she said all right, and that she would follow my preferences. A week later, just before I was going to travel down and see her for the weekend, she asked whether I was sure about my stance, and I emphasized that I had no desire in an open marriage. We had a reasonably significant disagreement after that, and she eventually said she didn't want me to come visit again, which grieved me since I believed this would be an opportunity to work on our relationship. After that, things were a little difficult, but she agreed to come up for Valentine's Day weekend. She spent the whole weekend messaging her new roommate, which was a massive red flag. I sneaked a glimpse of her phone a few times since I'm the jealous kind, and I was horrified by what I saw. I was getting texts like, "I love your eyes," and "Can we try it on a chair next time?" I sat for a day thinking about it before confronting her the following morning. It turned out they'd been having for a few weeks, and there were a lot more nasty messages, and there was no way they were going to tell me without my finding out. She also said that she didn't want me to come since she didn't want things to be uncomfortable with her and the man as housemates. The conversation eventually devolved into her not feeling noticed by me in the 5 years we've been married, and our life was basically non-existent, but she discovered again with this guy that she is actually a very person, and that he provided her with the companionship that I hadn't been able to provide. It turns out I hadn't been paying attention to what she was saying the entire time. She told me she felt confined, that she wished she could go around the globe and see the world, but I was hearing but never truly listening to her because I didn't want to give up the security of our existing existence. I had always intended to accomplish these things someday, but I wanted to make sure we were financially secure enough to do it first. As a result, here I am. I understood I was the one who had pushed her to this point. She has and continues to tell me that she loves me and will always love me, and that her relationship with this man is merely lustful with no sentiments. I'm at a loss on what to do. I apologized and promised to try hard to improve and be a better person/husband, and she still wants things to work out with me. I'm simply not sure whether I'm digging myself a bigger hole by staying with her. We've been together for 10 years, nearly 6 of which we've been married, which is almost 1/3 of my life, and something about that prevents me from objectively declaring that I'm done. My mental health has been suffering this week since every waking second that we aren't communicating, my mind races to "are they having?" and "what is she doing?" that kind of thing. I'm going to visit a therapist about this later this week since I don't know what else to do. Story 2. My wife was cheating on me while I was abroad for a week. It ruined everything I thought about us. We've known one another for more than 5 years and have been married for more than 3 years at this point. My wife had an affair with a guy she met just 4 months ago, and I only found out about it 4 days ago. When I was on a business trip abroad for a week, it happened 100% of the time, which was frustrating, and I'm not sure whether it began sooner or later. What was the method via which I discovered this? The fact that she sent me so few messages on Messenger and answered my phone calls with such hesitation made me suspect her. She told me not to fall asleep like that the first night I returned, since I had been gone for a week. "Please don't fall asleep like that. I'm not used to it after your week-long absence," she said. On the next day, when she was still asleep, I checked her Facebook account. We know each other passwords to many accounts. It was clear from the photographs and messages that she had spent the night with him, probably at his place, while I was away, that they were in a committed relationship. She even admits to me that she has been cheating on me in one of our communications. This is something she intends to continue doing, to go through the following Christmas as if nothing had happened. She even inquired as to what kind of gift I would like, while simultaneously selecting a gift for the boyfriend. You think it's true? She has said in text messages that she would continue in this manner until she is, most likely financially, independent of me, which will not happen overnight. Afterwards, you forsake me in a cold and heartless way. I'm not sure whether she's aware that I caught her cheating on me or not. I'm going to assume the answer is yes. I have no recollection of the first several hours of that day, when I was desperately trying not to give her any clue of my knowledge or how thoroughly wrecked I had become. She could become aware of it and immediately take action, such as arranging for a quick move out or filing for divorce, among other things. In the time since, I haven't checked into her Facebook account, and I'm not sure whether she has noticed that I haven't done so, because of read messages. She is now in a difficult circumstance, and I'm not aware of it. However, I feel it is necessary for me to prepare for defense in order to maintain my financial well-being, prepare for the possible struggle of our 2 dogs and 2 cats. We don't have any children. I have a strong emotional attachment to our dogs. Unfortunately, she is the only one who has signed adoption agreements for 2 cats and 1 dog, and she is the only one who has done so. The first dog is the only one that we share equally in ownership. This makes it completely legal for her to simply go ahead and take them all when I'm not at home. Every time I go home, I have a nervous breakdown and have to leave the house. I'm concerned that this time the home will be empty and that I won't be able to catch up with them. When her mother divorced, she acted in a manner similar to this. The first time I saw my lawyer was today, and everything went well. Even the journey, there was a direct strike in the stomach for me. I was intrigued by the location of one of the images I had downloaded from her Facebook page. They were kissing and posing for photographs with our dogs when we arrived. It was on my way to the lawyer's office that I spotted it. It's just a few feet away. I had a complete meltdown at that place. So I'm going to keep up my deception game by sleeping in the same bed with her and accepting all of her weak excuses about having a busy schedule until the investigators have enough evidence to charge her. No longer do I have any respect for myself, and I'm unable to look myself in the eyes. I don't feel like a man anymore. Having to live in my residence is like living in a living nightmare and a pain. After obtaining a report from the investigators, I'm contemplating of informing her about her affair, perhaps with evidence on the table, but I'm not sure yet, and asking that she attend a counseling session for married couples after hearing the report. I want to be absolutely convinced that I have done all that is humanly feasible. The possibility exists that I will become entirely persuaded that I cannot trust her, and will be unable to stand the concept of any intimacy between us as a result of the therapy. I'm experiencing exactly that right now, with all of the breaking emotions swirling about inside of me. My thoughts on this have been prompted by the fact that it is quite difficult to recognize your first opponent in someone you've known for years in a split second. Everyone I tell this to just tells me that I should dump her. Please let me know if you have any recommendations for what more I may do in the meanwhile to get through that period, especially the forthcoming Christmas season with all of the falsehoods and best wishes that have been sent between us. Update. I can't explain how appreciative I am for everyone's kind comments and helpful ideas, STD check, BAR, and so on. I wish I had the time to answer to each and every one of you. I posted just before going to bed. It was close to 2 a.m. there, I'm GMT +2, and it exploded overnight. Thank you once again. I'll attempt to update when I'm in better form.